free afternoon, not a cloud in the sky, and we've had some exceptional racing here this afternoon. We're bringing you live the first race here will be the Wesbank Modifieds on pole position, as you see Chris Aberdeen and the Bosel Audi, and where's his teammate Terry Moss? He's missing. He went off in practice. We'll hear what happened to him in a moment or two. Ben Morganrud has got himself back onto the front row in his Mazda 323. Michael Briggs in the Calibra is right there with him. Sorrel van der Merwe in the Sassel Fords alongside him, and Dion Jabeur is the leading Class B motor car. But as always, down on the grid we've got Graham Cooper. He's going to talk to one or two of the drivers and hear how they're going to play this race. First of all, Ben Morganrud.
Thank you there, Roger. Ben, Roger het net nou my vraag. Ek moet eers vir jou vra, hoe kry jy dit reg om hierdie kar so vinnig te kry? Hoe kry jy dit reg om op tweede plek te kom?
Wel, dis nie dat my kar soveel vinniger is nie. Dit is meer dat die oppositie se karre 'n bietjie stadiger is. Audi was so gaaf om hulle aan te bied om hulle karre se restrictors met 4 mm kleiner te maak, en Ford se is ook kleiner gemaak. En dit het die speelveld nou so 'n bietjie gelyker gemaak.
Ben, daar's baie spekulasie oor die nuwe renmotor wat gebou word. Vertel ons 'n bietjie meer van hom, waar hy gebou word en wat hy gaan in hê.
Die kar word vir my gebou in Amerika. Kerel met die naam van Roger Mandeville doen die onderstel en die montering van die masjien in die radkas. En 'n kerel met die naam van Jim Downing doen die bakwerk. Hy is ook die kerel wat die 4-rotor RX-7's wat so goed gedoen het in Amerika se bakwerke ontwerp en gebou het. En ek was nou onlangs daar gewees, die werk vorder baie mooi en ek dink ons kan verwag om die kar teen die einde van die seisoen te sien.
Wat gaan jou vang as jy eers daai kar op die baan sit?
Kyk, op die oomblik is my kar 'n bietjie ligter as die ander kar omdat hy minder perdekrag het. Ek vermoed dat die nuwe kar gaan 'n bietjie swaarder moet wees as die kar. Hy maak die soort van perdekrag wat die turbo kar op die oomblik maak. So ek glo nie dit gaan nodig wees om te bekommer dat hy vir die res van die veld sal wegloop nie.
Ben, sterkte met daai nuwe projek. Ek dink Terry Moss staan ook hier so naby my. Laat ons net gou gehoor. Terry, you had a mishap this morning. Just a short, what happened?
Yeah, on the flying lap, one of the other competitors had raked gravel and grass onto the circuit. And in the apex of one of the corners, the car went into a major understeer, went onto the sand trap, which was rather rough, and destroyed my car.
The front end is completely destroyed. Do you think there's perhaps a problem with the sand traps?
Yes, well, that particular one there was. It shot the car into the air. I expected it to be rather smooth. I didn't think there was any damage to my car, but the sand trap did it.
Terry, thanks very much. Sorry that you're a spectator today. Roger and Hendrik, let's get this race going.
And Terry Moss, very diplomatically, it was his teammate Chris Aberdeen that actually pulled the sand and the grass onto the circuit, and then he went off on the result of that. But Ben Morganrud, a competitor today, no doubt about it. Don't discount this little 323 Mazda. It's a triple rotor motor on the front row of the grid. Aberdeen, the man who won at Swartkorps just 2 weeks ago, there he is, the Bosel Audi. Chris Aberdeen won the first Porsche Turbo Cup. A very, very competitive driver indeed. Smooth, gets these cars into four-wheel drifts, probably the most sophisticated racing cars we have in South Africa. Four-wheel drive, power steering. The only thing I think they lack is air conditioning. Very, very fast indeed, capable of 300 kilometers an hour on full boost. Right, it's Aberdeen in the front row with Ben Morganrud alongside him as they move off for their warm-up lap. It'll be a rolling start lap, this one. Aberdeen in the Bosel Audis on the front row. Ben Morganrud, that's him on the left-hand side there in that Mazda. Beautifully turned out car, built in his workshops in Randfontein, and it's well turned out. There's the Calibra. What a beautiful looking machine. And their team manager, Peter Laird, is retired from running the Opel racing team. He'll be going over to Canada shortly. They had a little do for him last night, and it was quite an occasion with all the other team managers coming around to pay their respects to Peter, who's done such a grand job there for the Opel racing team. Briggs in the Calibra, which they are slowly getting sorted out. It's very, very quick. It's on the second row at the moment. Alongside him is Super Sorrel van der Merwe, Super Van as we know him, as we go inside with Aberdeen going up the old straight as we come up to Budget Corner. On the third row of the grid would have been Moss, but there's an empty space there because he's wrecked the front of his motor car on the sand trap down a total curve. Dion Jabeur is the first of the Class B cars. He's only 2 of a second faster than his team captain, which is Tony Viana. This is what Budget Corner, the old Sunset, looks from the driving seat as they use all the road. You can see it's a left-hand drive, this one. So Wesbank Modified Racing, we're seeing those instruments made by Messerschmitt. It tells them everything. Digital instruments, they can tell almost air pressure in the tires, but oil temperatures, water temperatures, turbo boost, exhaust temperatures, a very high-tech motor car. And Morganrud won't be wanting to let him get away at all. Let's go a little bit further back in Class C from the Cape Surge Damzu. He'll be out rallying in the Volkswagen Algoa Rally next weekend in the Toyota. He's leading the South African Rally Championship, and he's the big challenger now in Class C in the Toyota Sprinter. And his big competition, just a second behind him, is Dave Repsol from the Transvaal, who's the class leader and the class champion. In fact, their man behind them is Richie Jude. There's his car now, that red car just going around Wesbank. Richie there in that beautiful sounding 323 BMW. A little further back, Richard Sorensen leads Class D. The man who's been challenging all the time has been Steve Wyndham from the Cape. But in this field here, he's well down on the grid here today. He's in fact starting from the back of the grid. Now, this is what it looks as you come around Conti Corner. There's the pace car, that BMW ahead of them. And they go under the Conti Bridge. This is where a tunnel goes into the pits, at the back of the pits. If you don't know Kyalami, round the Caltex curve, lovely clear shot there. This is the heavy braking. You go off left to enter the pit road, and there's very heavy braking as you come down to this bungee corners. In fact, the Brilliant Science corner into the Brilliant Science straight. Tight left-hander. Aberdeen's on the right. It's going to be a rolling start. The man who's got across the line first is Aberdeen. He's the pole man. He's going to get set to go now. The lights on red will turn to green, and the acceleration, he'll come across the line at the speed he wants. It's still red as he comes there. Does he get the green? He gets the green as he gets under the cantilever set of lights as he goes for the total curve for the first time. What a wonderful shot as he goes down here flat out. And there he is in the front there. And the Calibra's gone to second position. Michael Briggs has gone into second position as all these other cars, there's more than 30 of them in the field, all fight it out. Sarel van der Merwe third. Morgan Rood's gone back to fourth already. Aberdeen, Briggs, Sarel van der Merwe. Then we've got Ben Morgenrood in fourth position, and Dion Joubert is leading Tony Vionna as they come towards us. And Sarel van der Merwe is moving up to second, pushing Michael Briggs out of the way. Oh no, he's not, as they go around Budget. Calibra, magnificent looking machine. It sounds absolutely glorious. And that rasping Mazda is in fourth position at the moment. Those bales you see on the inside is to stop the drivers going across the inside of the curb, because it tends to pull a lot of muck onto the road. There they are again on the left-hand side. It's Aberdeen in the front. Not worrying about too much who's behind him. Nice clear shot as he goes up the Winfield Hill. Full revs he goes up there. It's a 5-speed box. They use a 6-speed box design. Only 5 gears they use, as Briggs is in second. Lots of black smoke coming out the exhaust pipe just behind his right front wheel. Sarel van der Merwe, Ben Morgenrood. This battle's on in earnest. It's an 8-lap. It's 34 kilometers of circuit. There's Joubert, there's Vionna, and there's Johan Coetzee in the gearmark. Skyline is right on their tail as they come down the hill. Back with the A-class cars. Van der Merwe looking for a place to come through. Also be rallying next weekend in the Sassel Laser. As they come towards us, it's Aberdeen. What an efficient machine. This is 4-wheel drive. It's a 2-wheel driven Opel Calibra. They'll be launching those cars. Lots of smoke and fire coming out of there. Fire and brimstone coming out of the side of the Calibra. It's got a great turn of speed. As you can see him opening up there away from Sarel van der Merwe. Aberdeen comes through first. Sarel van der Merwe is hanging on to him as they go down through the total curves. Very, very fast indeed here. They hardly lift as they come through here. And that Calibra starting to grip the road far better than we've seen it. Sarel van der Merwe looking for a way through, but Briggs closes the door. Lots of flame coming out of the side of that exhaust pipe. That turbo's on full boost there. It's got a lot of power and it accelerates away. Aberdeen still holding the lead in the front there. And Ben Morgenrood will be just waiting for one of those other cars to make any sort of a mistake. His car's lighter. It's very quick indeed, and it handles particularly well. We're back with Aberdeen now. Chris Aberdeen, Springbok, comes out of Yellow Pages, caught down the top for S's. Like in here as he goes, and now starts to swing over to the right. It's a downhill edge. Very difficult one, not much runoff area. If you make a mistake, he's up next to the Armco, under the Winfield Bridge. He climbs up. Here's the shelf now. Suddenly arrives, and there's the brake marks there for the Westbank corner. Sarel van der Merwe looking for an inside burst. That white on the road is oil that is dropped in a previous race. They put cement down there to soak it up. It's very effective in soaking up the oil. Here's the Calibra making a great showing here in second position. They're in 1.5 laps into this race, and Sarel van der Merwe is trying. He's going to try around the outside. Now he's going to try and take an inside line to get a tow from him on his way down to Caltex, which is flat out. Flat out as they come under the Conti Bridge, and Sarel van der Merwe can't do it this time. That Calibra's got legs. It's certainly got legs, that motor car. You can hear them popping and squeezing, lots of black smoke, but don't worry about it. It's certainly got the power on the road here today, and Ben Morgan, who's tucked in behind them as well. Aberdeen comes through in the front. He's trying to romp away, but Sarel van der Merwe is challenging Briggs.
Dis sekerlik die motor wat die meeste oor gepraat het, terwyl Sarel van der Merwe opskuif van die tweede posisie, en ek dink Michael Briggs het 'n probleem. Hy het eweskielik stadiger gegaan daar die Brilliant Science Poulvak af. En Ben Morgenroth is ook nou besig om te kyk of hy verby Michael Briggs verby kan kom. Maar die motor waaroor daar sekerlik die meeste in Suid-Afrikaanse motorsport gepraat word, daar is 'n inbeeld, is die Opel Calibra van Michael Briggs. Dis 'n motor wat in Amerika ook ontwikkel is en grootliks hier in Suid-Afrika verfyn is. 3,5 liter V6 turbo aangejaagde enjin, agterwiel aangedrewe motor daarin, en hy ontwikkel iets in die omgewing van 430 kilowatt. Dis die Opel Calibra van Opel Motorsport. Michael Briggs agter die stuur, Terry Moss is die voorloper in die Audi Quattro 4-wiel aangedrewe motor. Daar is baie min ander motors wat hom gaan inhaal en verby gaan steek in hierdie wedren indien daar niks met hom verkeerd gaan nie. Maar Sarel van der Merwe het opgeskuif in die tweede plek. Hy het hierdie week aangekondig dat hy gaan ophou om internasionaal deel te neem, en nou het hy sy vizier ingestel op Chris Aberdeen. Ben Morgenroth is besig om die sake baie goed uit die boom te kyk, die kat mooi uit die boom uit te kyk om te sien wat is dit wat verkeerd is met Michael Briggs se motor, en hy gaan kyk of hy nie binnekort by hom verby kan kom nie. Sarel van der Merwe is besig om al nader en nader aan Chris Aberdeen te kom. Daar is baie min vriendskap tussen hierdie twee manne deesdae in Suid-Afrikaanse motorsport. Op die baan minstens dan. En Ben Morgenroth probeer aan die binnekant van Caltex, maar hy kan net nie daar slaag nie. Michael Briggs het moontlik net 'n radwisseling daar gemis. En dis hoekom hy vir Van der Merwe die kans gegee het om verby te kom. Dit is soos dit in motorsport werk. Jy maak een klein foutjie en dan betaal jy daarvoor deur jou posisie te verloor. Van der Merwe is besig om vir Aberdeen onder druk te plaas, en hy gaan probeer om hom te dwing om 'n fout te begaan. Hy gaan probeer om presies dit te doen wat hy met Michael Briggs gedoen het. Briggs wat beslis hier 'n baie goeie vertoning lewer tot dusver. Dis die eerste keer dat ons hierdie motor op Kyalami in aksie sien. En hy het in die derde wegspringposisie begin. En daar was baie min wat daar gekies kon word tussen hierdie motors in klas A. Ben Morgenroth wat nie wag vir enigiets om verkeerd te gaan. 'n Faktor wat altyd 'n rol speel in Wesbank gemodifiseerde sedanmotorwedrenne is die stand van die bande van hierdie motors. En as jy te hard jaag in die begin van die wedren, dan gaan jy 'n probleem hê met jou bande se greep later deur die loop van die wedren. Chris Aberdeen, Van der Merwe is aan die binnekant deur. Die binnekant van die eerste van die Topsport SA, en Sarel van der Merwe neem die voortou. Hy is sekerlik een van die mees suksesvolle motorsportjaars wat ons nog in Suid-Afrika gehad het. Sarel van der Merwe, 'n legende in sy eie leeftyd. Daar is min ander wat daarop aanspraak kan maak, en Van der Merwe is al reeds besig om gaping op te maak. Sou Chris Aberdeen dalk 'n probleem hê? Sarel van der Merwe wat 'n baie slim renjaer is, al die jare se ondervinding wat hy tot dusver opgebou het, maak dat hy indien hy enige klein geleentheid kry om verby te gaan, dat hy daardie kans met albei hande aangryp het. Sarel van der Merwe is hier besig om weg te ry van Chris Aberdeen af. Miskien is dit 'n bietjie vroeg om dit te sê. Moontlik het Aberdeen ook net 'n fout begaan daar. Maar dit is die taktiek wat Van der Merwe altyd uithaal. Hy plaas druk op die manne voor hom, en daardie druk wat hy op hulle toepas veroorsaak dat hulle foute begaan. Die skare is op hulle voete as die voorlopers in die Brilliant Science Poulvak afkom, en die Sasol Ford Sapphire van Sarel van der Merwe met 2 rondes wat oorbly in hierdie eerste skof van die Wesbank gemodifiseerde sedanmotorwedrenne vandag is in die voortou. Dis nog 4 rondes wat oorbly. Dis 'n 8 ronde wedren hierdie, nog 4 rondes wat oorbly. Ben Morgenroth begin probeer aan die binnekant van National Drive. Hy is terug af in die veld. Dis Sarel van der Merwe wat 'n nuwe baanrekord opgestel het. En daar die tyd van hom van 1 minuut 39,65 sekondes is 0,2 van 'n sekonde vinniger as die huidige baanrekord, en Morgenroth gaan probeer om aan die buitekant van 'n geel bladsy verby te kom. Hy gaan net hier aan die slag nie. Morgenroth wat probeer om in die derde plek in te skuif. Nou is Chris Aberdeen reeds besig om die stadiger motors te betaal. Van der Merwe is reeds op die hakke van George Beside nou. En dit kan 'n groot faktor word in hierdie wedren, die stadiger motors, indien enige van hulle nie vir en Beside nou is nie, dis nie vir die ander kant van die ander stances. Steve Quality se motor wat baie rook daar uitblaas. Hier Wesbank vir die 5de keer. Chris Aberdeen wat sien dat Sarel van der Merwe besig is om al verder en verder van hom al weg te trek.
Well, that's what 25 years of experience in South African motorsport does for you. He selects his chances. Just when he's battling with Briggs, he got past Michael Briggs in the Calibra, as Ben Morgenroth's trying to do at the moment using his tactics and the slower cars, but Briggs, who's been in standard group N racing, is having none of it. But Aberdeen now has got to show his mettle. There's always a feeling that Sarel van der Merwe tends to intimidate Chris Aberdeen, where he doesn't do the same to Terry Moss, who push him off the road if it came to the real push. if they wanted to slug it out. And Morgan Root's got Michael Briggs, but a great showing there for the Calibra this meeting. A lot of development gone in there with Peter Laird and also Alan McDonald of PE. And the Calibra is making a good showing there. You can't take a brand new motor car off the drawing board and beat the likes of some of these other cars that have been racing for 4 and 5 years in heavy competition. And Morgan Root, now clear of Briggs, is going to set off after Aberdeen, and he's a competitor too. There's lots of smoke coming out of there. It's such a high-tech motor car, that one. We're in with Aberdeen. There's Sorrel ahead of him. The slow traffic is going to maybe change things. We're in lap 6 at the moment. There's 8 laps in all to do. Van der Merwe is just at 60, 70 metres ahead of him. Very late braking four-wheel drive. He hardly has to touch the brakes. He just goes down a gear there, as I say, using 5 of the 6 Ps in the gearbox. They're going to the Top Sport S's. Keep away from those straw bales. You don't want to pull those onto the road. As they let it slide across the road, close to the Armco, pouring it up the hill here. It's all acceleration up that hill in that effort to chase Sorrel van der Merwe. Very late braking in this Audi Quattro. There's Van der Merwe going round Wesbank corner, and there's Chris Aberdeen in the big red Bosel Audi. And they're coming up on, there's the Class D battle at the moment. It's Richard Sorensen, the superior car, and there's Steve Corn in that yellow motor car, moving over for Aberdeen to come through. So that's the Class D battle at the moment. And they'll be starting to move through some of these others. Aberdeen gets it sideways. It's four-wheel drift as he comes through there, coming out of Conti Corner into Caltex, and Van der Merwe is starting to romp away this race. I don't know whether Aberdeen has got an answer to him. The tyres start to go off. It's going to slip and slide all over the road. And so Sorrel van der Merwe has got a lot closer this time. Comes up the road now, and we put a watch on, and it's 0.9 of a second. That's all it is. It's very fast through. Here's Aberdeen. Puts in some starting laps. Gets it sideways, four-wheel drifting the motor car. A little further back, we've got Ben Morganroot in third. We've got Michael Briggs in fourth. We've got Dion Jabir leading Tony Viana on identical times. Johan could see in the Gearmax Skyline. He's just behind the BMWs in Class B. With Gary Dunkley in the Sabat Porsche behind them. George Bezuidenhout is looks like it's leading Class C, unless we've lost Repsol. We'll have to find that out a little bit later. But this battle goes on. He's closer this time. No doubt about it, as we get into the final stage of this race with a lap and a half to go. Aberdeen is getting closer. As Van der Merwe overcooked his tyres, he's on Goodyears, Aberdeen's on Dunlops. There's the order with a lap and a half to go. Briggs is the fourth man on the road. Then it's Dion Jabir leading Class B, and he's a lot closer. He can get into very, very late braking in that four-wheel drive. Extraordinary motor car when they drive in the wet with those four wheels all gripping the road. Van der Merwe's got that aerial is for communications with the pits, of course. He's that very wide-winged Mazda. Got past to some of the other cars. Briggs is still hanging in there. Wants to finish this race. Has a lovely-looking machine. They'll be launching some of these cars, we believe, a little bit later in the year for the road. That's a very high-tech one as it comes towards us. And Aberdeen is closing. Aberdeen is a lot closer. It was just on 1 second as they came past us the last lap. We'll try to check on them now. As they come through, it's the same distance. It's exactly the same distance. We're going to the final lap, and Van der Merwe is not going to give this one away. He was third at Swartkorps 2 weeks ago, and he is not going to let them get away with it this time. This is a circuit where he's had a lot of successes. He won at the Grand Prix meeting here as well. He won at the... He's won at other circuits around the country as Sorrel, and this is the one that he wants very badly to get the Sasol Ford, that Sapphire. He's expecting a new motor car, but he's wanting this car to, when he stops driving it, that has actually won races. Morganroot in third position. The scream of that car, as you always say, it sounds like a Grand Prix motorcycle coming towards you, and it sounds like a Ferrari as it goes away from an extraordinary sounding triple rotor Mazda. Aberdeen using all the road. There he is, just what we told you. Four-wheel drifting, magnificent piece of driving there. Power steering, as we say. Armchair comfort, surrounded by instruments and technology. A very strong roll cage as well, prepared by the Audi Motorsport team down in Port Elizabeth. And he's getting it sideways as he pours the power on. But he's not going to catch that man, Sorrel van der Merwe, in A3. And here comes Morganroot down the road. If he hadn't been held up maybe in the early stage of this race, or if he was held up, he might have been a lot closer. They're coming up on Don Brains. There's Keith Carr. They're having a dice of their own. They get out of Van der Merwe's way. Aberdeen's got to do the same. It's going to be Sorrel van der Merwe, and the Sasol Ford Sapphire is going to do it. There's a corner to go. in a brilliant science corner, bungee corner. Ahead of him he's got George Bezaden at that very pretty little Nissan Sentra. And Van der Merwe, to the great delight of the Ford fans, is coming through to win it. Saul van der Merwe takes the flag from John Wheeler. Here's the second man through, Chris Aberdeen. We've got a race later in the afternoon. They'll all be making other plans to try and reverse that order. Ben Morgenrud has come through in third position. And there's Saul van der Merwe. Very, very happy, waving to his many fans, and he has got a very, very big fan following. 25 years in motorsport, 11 South African titles. He'd like to add this one to his score as well. Briggs comes through in fourth position. And that car is becoming very, very successful. Jeff Mortimer and his team at the Ford Motorsport team has really done a great job in sorting out that Sasol Ford Sapphire. So and there's this Class D dice. And it's Steve Corner's going to beat Richard Sorensen, the class leader. It's Corner all the way to the line. No, it's not. They're neck and neck. As they come up, it's Steve Corner up from Standing Racing. The Cornerite Motors, of course, do a lot for motorsport. And they come across the line. It's Steve Corner gets it there ahead of Richard Sorensen. And there's the B-class cars, and that was, it was Tony Viana winning ahead there. Dion Joubert, I beg your pardon, winning ahead there of Tony Viana. And in Class C, Dave Repsol beat George Bezaden and Don Brains that you just saw. Let's have a look at those results again in the Wesbank Modified.
Goeie oorwinning daar deur Sarel van der Merwe. Het met Chris Aberdeen wat geen antwoord vir hom gehad het. Ek dink Brits kan ook baie tevrede voel met sy vertoning vandag in die wedren. En 'n goeie vierde plek voltooi en Dion Joubert wat Klas B wen, Klas C gewen deur Dave